Talk about some good ratings returns for the Indiana Fever.
WNBA season that saw an average of 612 viewers watching between the Lynx and the Wings.
Did you guys see the viewership for this game? This viewership was crazy.
They are going to be much, much better once Caitlin Clark is back on the floor.
Caitlin Clark reported, says the Fever matchup on Friday versus the Sun drew 851,000 viewers, becoming the most viewed WNBA game on ION this season.
Breaking news just hit the WNBA world, and it's something fans everywhere have been waiting for. Caitlin Clark has officially announced her return, and the impact is already being felt across the league.
And the growth involving Clark in the Fever is higher than everything else. Anything without Clark is lower than everything else.
In just the past few minutes, viewership numbers have skyrocketed, fan engagement is through the roof, and the Indiana Fever are once again the center of attention. Caitlin Clark has announced her comeback, and the entire league is buzzing.
When you look at the Fever's recent return, this is interesting because the first game on NBA TV had fallen like 39%, but was still the 10th most watched WNBA game ever on WNBA TV, still following that theme.
In today's video, we're diving into how her return is already shaking up the ratings and why this moment could be a major turning point for the WNBA.
It is undeniable that Caitlin Clark is the engine.
Caitlin Clark effect. There has been so much of an influx in attendance and jersey sales and viewership, all the things.
That's about star power, narrative, and likability.
Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA, goes through college. She has panache. She has style.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
She's so good at basketball.
From record-breaking viewership to the powerful ripple effects she's creating for women's basketball, even while sidelined.
Caitlin Clark's absence. The Caitlin Clark effect continues even when she's not on the court. Folks, this is a big deal.
Today's video breaks it all down. So buckle up, because this isn't just about numbers. It's about the impact of a generational athlete making history in real time. Clark isn't just a player, she's a phenomenon. And with her comeback now confirmed, the numbers are exploding.
They are going to be much, much better once Caitlin Clark is back on the floor.
The Fever fan base is louder than ever, and the league is experiencing attention like never before. So what happened exactly? Why are the ratings so high, even when she was out? And what does her comeback really mean for the future of...
Still number 2 in the MVP odds, how monumentally valuable Caitlin Clark is to the Indiana Fever.
The moment Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, viewership across the league began climbing at a pace rarely seen in women's sports.
Caitlin Clark at a plus 450, people anticipated that Caitlin Clark would be out.
But with the recent news of her return from injury, that surge has reached a new peak. Networks like ION and NBA TV have reported record-breaking numbers, even in games where Clark wasn't on the court. That alone speaks volumes about her star power. For example, a recent Indiana Fever game broadcast on ION drew in over 850,000 viewers, making it the most watched WNBA game on the network this season.
Caitlin Clark reported, says the Fever matchup on Friday versus the Sun drew 851,000 viewers, becoming the most viewed WNBA game on ION this season.
That's a staggering 119% increase compared to the same window last year. Even more impressive, Clark didn't even play in that game. Yet her presence, her storyline, continues to pull audiences in. And it's not just about the Fever.
It is undeniable that Caitlin Clark is the engine.
Caitlin Clark effect. There has been so much of an influx in attendance and jersey sales and viewership, all the things.
That's about star power, narrative, and likability.
Other teams, like the Las Vegas Aces and the LA Sparks, are also seeing increases in viewership. The ripple effect of Caitlin Clark's involvement is being felt across the entire league. It's clear that fans who came in for Clark are staying to watch the rest of the WNBA, proving that her influence goes far beyond individual games. But as fast as those numbers rose, Week 2 brought a harsh reality check.
Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA, goes through college. She has panache. She has style.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
Games without star power, like Sun versus Lynx and Storm versus Mercury, saw significant drops, down to 431,000 and 344,000 viewers respectively.
WNBA season that saw an average of 612 viewers watching between the Lynx and the Wings.
Clearly, without compelling storylines or standout stars, fans weren't sticking around. That's when the Fever stepped in. Indiana's game against the Connecticut Sun became the most watched WNBA game on ION this season. 851,000 viewers, despite Caitlin Clark being sidelined with a quad injury. Let that sink in. The most viewed game, and she didn't even play. That's the power of her presence. Her name alone commands attention, sells tickets, drives ratings, even from the bench.
It was an absolute awful game. However, did you guys see the viewership? The Indiana Fever's matchup on Friday versus the Sun drew 851,000 viewers.
And fans didn't tune out when they heard she was out. They stayed. They supported. That loyalty speaks volumes. The numbers prove it. An 89% increase over last year's comparable broadcast slot, which only brought in 389,000 viewers. Caitlin Clark didn't touch the court and still made an impact. That's not hype. That's influence. Even though Caitlin Clark was ruled out due to injury and missed the Indiana Fever's latest matchup, the impact she's had on the league refuses to slow down. The Fever's recent game against the Connecticut Sun drew an astonishing 851,000 viewers, the most watched WNBA game on the EO network this season. Think about that. No Caitlin Clark on the floor, yet the ratings still shattered records.
Caitlin has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year. She shot a bunch of it, and it's been the whole preseason where it looks to me like on her deepest shots, she is just getting them off like they're nothing, like they're routine, because nobody else is shooting from this distance regularly, and she's doing it with a flick of the wrist.
This isn't just a random spike. This is what analysts and fans are now calling the Caitlin Clark effect. Her presence, or even the possibility of her return, is enough to draw national attention. Ticket sales are starting to rise again, and interest in the Fever's upcoming games is building momentum. What's even more telling, the fans haven't tuned out just because she's out. Instead, they're sticking with the team, watching, supporting, and waiting. And that loyalty is paying off in ways the league hasn't seen before. You'd think without Caitlin Clark on the court, the excitement might dip, right?
The Indy Star collected data from Ticketmaster and found that selected ticket prices for Clark's future matchups against the Sun, Mystics, and Sky, in which she is expected to play, increased by as much as 366%.
But the opposite just happened. In a recent matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun, viewership numbers hit a staggering 851,000 on ION, making it the most watched WNBA game on the network this season. And Caitlin Clark wasn't even playing. Let that sink in. That number didn't come out of nowhere. The Fever, thanks largely to Clark's presence this season, have become the most talked about and watched team in the league. And even when she's sidelined, fans are still tuning in, either out of loyalty, curiosity, or simply because Clark has elevated
Caitlin
the entire
Clark
conversation around the
Indiana
WNBA.
Fever. What are the
Some fans are even calling it
repercussions
hate
on
watching,
ticket prices?
while others say it's about team pride. But no matter the motivation, the data proves one thing. Caitlin Clark's impact extends far beyond the court. She's brought a spotlight that the league hasn't seen in years.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar globally.
Despite a rocky win-loss record, the numbers reveal that the Fever have been quietly outperforming expectations. And yes, Caitlin Clark has a lot to do with that. When Clark was on the floor, the Fever ranked second in net rating, just behind the powerhouse New York Liberty. That means on a per-possession basis, they were one of the most efficient teams in the entire league. Even after her injury, the Fever held strong and currently sit third in net rating overall.
People believe she will be playing, and that's starting to make the ticket prices go up, up, and up.
This metric, offensive rating minus defensive rating, is considered one of the most accurate indicators of a team's quality. So despite the record, the Fever have consistently been playing high-level basketball. Offensively, they were ranked 5th across the league. Again, a solid performance.
Her ticket prices are starting to go up. The Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark still looking like the only draw.
But what really stands out is their defense. The Fever, who struggled defensively in previous seasons, are now the 3rd best defensive team in the WNBA. That's a massive improvement and speaks to a team that's evolving, not just depending on one player.
It's still Nafisia Collier, Caitlin Clark, and Asia Wilson, okay?
Despite being loaded with star talent like Asia Wilson and Nafisa Collier, these teams can't hold attention in the same way. The so-called face of the league isn't drawing 500,000 viewers on a national broadcast, even in prime time.
The Indy Star collected data from Ticketmaster and found that selected ticket prices for Clark's future matchups against the Sun, Mystics, and Sky, in which she is expected to play, increased by as much as 366%.
The question is no longer whether Caitlin Clark is the biggest name in the league. It's how wide the gap is between her and everyone else. This isn't to discredit other athletes. The talent is there. But for the casual fan, the one who decides whether a league grows or stays niche, there's no hook, no magnetism outside of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is Indiana Fever's leading scorer at over 19 points a game. Caitlin Clark is undeniably the offensive engine.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like...
Cannot deny the impact that she's made on this sport.
People aren't showing up for basketball. They're showing up for her. The WNBA's ratings show a clear trend. When Caitlin plays, numbers spike. When she doesn't, or worse, when she's not involved at all, the audience walks away, and that's a wake-up call. Because one player shouldn't carry an entire league. Yet here we are. With Caitlin Clark sidelined, all eyes turned to how the Indiana Fever would hold up, and it's been a true test of depth and chemistry.
The fans get ready, and the league sort of anticipates her re-arrival. The fans are starting to get their ducks in a row to try to get those tickets. Well, those ticket prices are all starting to go up now.
Players like Aaliyah Boston and Dana Evans have had to step up, and while the results have been mixed, there are signs of growth. In the most recent outing, Dana Bonner dropped a solid 20-point performance, showing the kind of leadership this young squad needs in Caitlin's absence. But let's be honest, the Fever's system is built around Caitlin Clark. Her court vision, her elite passing and pick-and-roll situations, and her gravity as a scorer changed the entire flow of the offense.
It shows the league, the media, everybody that covers it, holy crap, look at what this team looks like without Caitlin Clark.
Without her, the team has had to adjust on the fly, learning to operate differently and build new chemistry under pressure. Even analysts like Rebecca Lobo are urging fans not to panic. She recently emphasized that this rough patch could actually be a blessing in disguise. It's giving the rest of the roster a chance to evolve, find their rhythm, and develop confidence. And when Clark returns, they'll be stronger for it.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
News of her return hit the basketball world like a shockwave. Almost instantly, online conversations exploded, ticket demand surged, and media outlets scrambled to cover the story. Social media platforms lit up, and within hours, Caitlin Clark's comeback was trending across the sports world. This isn't just about one player coming off the bench again for the SAG offer.
She was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
This is about the return of the WNBA's biggest ratings magnet. The Fever's next games are now expected to cross the 1 million viewer threshold once more, especially with networks like ION, ESPN, and NBA TV now prioritizing games she's scheduled to play in. Her return means more than just stats and scoring. It means energy, eyes, and momentum. It's not a stretch to say that her comeback could set new viewership records, especially if she delivers on the court like she has all season long. Whether people tune in to cheer her or challenge her, one thing is for sure. When Caitlin Clark is in the game, the world is watching.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlin Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually. The most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlin Clark.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from three. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from three-point range.
From the moment she was drafted, Clark has been more than just a rookie. She's been a catalyst. Ticket sales, merchandise, and media coverage all exploded the moment she put on a Fever jersey. And even while injured, her influence didn't fade. Fans kept tuning in. Ratings continued climbing. And now, with her return just days away, anticipation has turned into action.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
This is great news for women's basketball, period. So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from three. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from three-point range.
Social media is already lighting up with speculation about which game she'll be back for. Reporters, fans, and analysts are all watching closely. The league has even quietly shifted marketing efforts around her comeback, knowing full well that her return will likely bring another rating spike and possibly a major boost in the Fever's performance.
A'ja Wilson is not really good, is wrong. The Las Vegas Aces are 4-2 on the season. She is averaging 23, 10.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and a lot of steals on 47% from the field and 26% from three.
There's also a psychological effect here. For her teammates, Clark's return adds confidence and momentum. For opposing teams, it means more pressure. And for the league as a whole, it means the biggest storyline of the season is about to enter a brand new chapter.
In fact, when Caitlin Clark's not playing, you see people turning it off or selling their tickets.
She is more famous than all of this generation's NBA stars.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Caitlin Clark is not just coming back. She's coming back to a league that's already transformed in her absence, and one that's about to go to another level with her back on the court. And now, the moment fans have been waiting for, Caitlin Clark is coming back. After missing games with a quad injury, reports have just confirmed her return to the lineup. And while the official tip-off hasn't even happened yet, the buzz is already setting the stage. Social media is lighting up. Ticket demand is rising. And networks are reshuffling schedules to make room for what's guaranteed to be another viewership spike.
The most expensive ticket in Section 120 for Friday's contest against the Sun cost $86.25. When Indiana hosts the Sun June 17th, a ticket in the same section will cost $140.30, a 62.7% increase.
Her comeback doesn't just boost the Fever, it revives the entire WNBA storyline. With Clark back, every game she plays becomes must-watch TV. The media covers it, fans plan around it, sponsors pay attention, and the league, quite frankly, breathes easier. But this isn't just about ratings. It's about momentum. Every time Caitlin steps on the court, the conversation around women's basketball grows louder. She brings new eyes, younger fans, and national attention that the league hasn't seen in years.
It is undeniable that Caitlin Clark is the engine.
Caitlin Clark effect. There has been so much of an influx in attendance, in jersey sales, and viewership, all the things.
That's about star power, narrative, and likability.
Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA, goes through college. She has panache. She has style.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Her return is more than a feel-good moment. It's a turning point. Because with her back in action, the WNBA isn't just surviving, it's exploding. The challenge now? Keeping that momentum going and not letting it vanish when she's off the floor. Now here's where things really get exciting, because sources close to the team suggest that Caitlin Clark's return could be just around the corner. While the official injury report has kept her listed as out for now, insiders are hinting that her recovery is progressing well. And that buzz? It's fueling a new wave of anticipation across the WNBA community.
Indiana and Chicago square off for the WNBA's Commissioner Cup. The cheapest ticket will cost $57.50. When the two reconvene in Chicago July 27th, the cheapest seat in Section 225 will be $267.95.
Ticket sales are already climbing in expectation of her comeback. Merchandise demand is ticking up. And social media? It's exploding with fans counting down the days. The Fever know that once Caitlin steps back onto the hardwood, it won't just be a return, it'll be a moment. And make no mistake, her return won't just impact the Fever. The entire league is bracing for another surge in viewership, attendance, and spotlight. Because when Caitlin Clark plays, the numbers follow. And this upcoming return could turn what started as a shaky season into one of the most watched stories in WNBA history. Caitlin Clark isn't just boosting ratings. She's redefining what's possible for women's basketball. With every game she plays, she's pulling in massive national audiences, bringing in new fans, and proving that the WNBA can be a mainstream force.
Nephisia Collier of the Minnesota Lynx, Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark, and reigning MVP Asia Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces, and then everybody else according to the odds makers.
And now with her return confirmed, the league is staring down a major opportunity, but also a serious challenge. The opportunity: use this momentum to grow the league. More broadcasts, better marketing, bigger sponsorships. Clark is giving the WNBA a spotlight it hasn't had in decades.
Nephisia Collier is on a 7-0 Minnesota Lynx team and is averaging 26.3 points and 8.3 rebounds per game, and she's doing it on 51% from the field and 45% from three.
She's a bridge between die-hard basketball fans and a new generation that's showing up in droves. But here's the challenge. Is the WNBA ready to capitalize on it? Critics argue that the league hasn't done enough to support or promote its biggest star. From scheduling inconsistencies to lackluster coverage, some say Clark's success has come in spite of the system, not because of it. If the league wants to keep this wave going, it needs to evolve, and fast.
The jerseys, the number 22, the various styles, whether it's a t-shirt with 22, whether it's an Iowa jersey, whether it's a Fever jersey, a throwback, I mean, whatever. The amount of people in yellow 22 apparel is stunning.
Because the truth is, Caitlin Clark has raised the standard. Fans now expect more. More access, more visibility, more action. And if the WNBA embraces that, the league could enter an entirely new era.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers. We're talking about a preseason game against the Brazil national team drawing 1.2 million views.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person, and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
One where women's basketball finally gets the spotlight it deserves. So there you have it. Caitlin Clark's return isn't just exciting news for Indiana Fever fans. It's a defining moment for the entire WNBA. The ratings are soaring, the team's performance is stronger than it looks on paper, and the league is riding a wave of momentum that shows no signs of slowing down. Caitlin Clark's return isn't just good news for Indiana Fever fans. It's a lifeline for the entire WNBA. The numbers don't lie. Whether she's playing or sidelined, her influence is undeniable. But now, with her officially back, all eyes are on what happens next. Will the league ride this wave and build something sustainable? Or will it continue to lean on a single star to carry the weight? Make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Caitlin's return will push ratings even higher? And how will her presence change the season going forward? If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Caitlin Clark the future of women's basketball? Or is this just the start of something even bigger? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.